expect, and expect.
That's not even stepping into the
So
face.
you're never disappointed. So when you occasionally win, it's a pleasant surprise.
Life is good.
Jalen Hurts one. Why are you passing on to that? Just run the ball.
It's nice. It's always.
Remember you had
We're going to talk about some interesting stuff today. Grab hold. This is a situation where they thought the information was floating around every place with the soda. This county had more and more going on throughout the whole United States. It's not good.
It's clear.
It's not good.
We wouldn't have had to do all the work they had to do to fix it.
Because, you know, we like just doing that.
Exactly, like throwing money away.
Tired people in this county cannot
Not just retired either. Just retired.
show and tell today.
You call in?
Hey, Sarah, can you call Becky and just find out what her date is?
I don't.
And then, because I need to sit down and
We may
think
have
about
to
it.
call.
I didn't do it.
Like, I can't do it this minute, I can't give it to you. But just tell her that, you know, I mean, I could do it, I could have it for her by tomorrow. The other thing is, the other thing is, we can pick up those stuff when we're on our when you drive me. Okay, we're gonna be in the meeting.
Here comes Jen. Austin.
Yep.
Scott presented this at the chamber meeting the other morning.
Yes, and
Did a
yeah,
nice job.
Scott did it yesterday. I'm doing it this morning. Sal's doing it tonight.
Good.
Splitting it up. I think this is probably the third or fourth time Commissioner Maravito's heard it. I think we can pull him in to do one of them.
Last night I did it at the township. I did a very brief version of it for the township supervisors. Basically, I gave them the 3 snares. I talked about the fact that you guys were trying to look through tunnel vision, that you were using, extenuating circumstances.
You get the highest, 140.
Well, it's not 140. It's,
The highest scenario would have been.
I don't think so. No, 140 is what they told us during the gas industry.
Yeah.
I think the highest scenario is like 118, isn't it? It's a 1% increase.
Yeah, 3,000 people.
3,000 people from where we are
That's
now.
if you believe, if you believe in the census.
Well, one
Which I don't.
of the things I wanted to ask Scott,
I'm
which I'll
sorry.
ask you today.
We have more than 113,000 people in this county.
Well,
They're just not recorded.
Did you?
they're invisible.
That's it.
One of the things I do want to ask you, you can think about it, is what went wrong with the estimation back when the gas boom happened of 140,000? And is it possible that the same mistake is being made now that would actually result in a higher, because it's kind of a pessimistic growth.
Yeah.
Pessimistic. Okay, I'll shut up. Soon you won't have me to talk around anyway. No. That's the Richard
All I
Nixon.
said was it was 10:01.
That's the Richard Nixon line. You won't have me to kick around anymore. Don't you remember that famous line when he was resigning?
Some of the people in the room weren't born then.
That's true. A lot of it.
Okay, who do we have?
Kristen McLaughlin, Cedar Car.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, ask you to please rise for the opening prayer and pledge allegiance before we begin the Commissioner's Public Meeting. Dear Heavenly Father, we praise you this morning for another day you've granted us. We thank you for your goodness and blessings, your great love, mercy, compassion, and grace. We ask you to forgive us when we reflect our sinful nature and do not show gratitude. Renew our spirits that we will strive to do what pleases your will. Lord, as we reflect on our spirit, we also recognize we have a human body to offer sufferers illness, and disease. As we remember October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we ask you to comfort and heal those that are suffering. We pray those that are afflicted will have their health completely restored. Comfort them and remove all fear, replacing it with faith, strength, and courage. We pray that during the month, awareness will circulate and testing will be completed. May the early detections of this horrible disease receive immediate help so that those loved ones will be with us for many more years. Let each one of us be a support system when called upon with an open ear, a shoulder to lean on and cry, and a foundation of strength and prayer for them. Father, we know you're the creator of all and also the great physician. We ask for your guidance over our meeting this day. These things we humbly ask in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll convene the Commissioners' Public Meeting at this time. Ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Do you have any public comment on agenda items only at this time? Yes. Can you please come up to the podium, please, and state your name. Thank you.
Anderson from Lycoming County, Wilbur Township. On the minutes, I'm just curious, what was the total balance in the treasury on the last meeting? We have never gave a total balance in the general fund. That should be announced. What is the balance?
So, it fluctuates, right?
No, as of last week.
I know, but what I'm trying to, we could go on the
Well,
computer.
which fund too, because we have them in different.
You mean he means the general
General
fund.
fund.
So, but the general fund, obviously, bills are paid out of it all the time. So
What was the total balance at the end of the meeting?
I don't know what
Does anyone know?
Yeah, we can look it up,
Wait a
Bill.
second, because that's a question.
There's a
that-
question, that's
No,
correct.
yeah, but it's not one that's easily explained. Because we have some of the monies in what we consider in our general fund in CDs that are
I
not
understand,
in.
but what's the total dollars and cents figuration?
Oh.
We can get it for you, but we can get it for
The
you.
reason I asked the question is it's interesting going into a budget session for next
Well,
year.
when I talked to Eric 2 weeks ago, he said in our cash balance, fund balance, at that time, there was 24 million in the, well, actually 27 million in the Act 13 account and 19 million in the fund balance. Now, he said that's come down because as we're working on the budget,
Correct.
things are getting paid out now.
Correct.
So
That's
we'll
I'm
have,
just curious.
yeah,
about
we'll
that.
have a better idea when it comes to
This goes into the budget for
the
next year. How we
presentation
do
of the
it.
budget, yes.
When we present the budget, we will be presenting numbers in the budget at that moment in time,
Correct.
what is in the
Right.
general fund.
Okay.
And what, like, for example, today there's money going out, and every time we sign them.
Sure, no,
So,
I
right,
understand that.
but absolutely, when we present the budget, there'll be a moment in time and a picture in time where people will be able to know that that is, I mean, you can know any time you want, you can call us and we'll ask you, but as Commissioner Metzger said,
Yeah.
it's changed in the last 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Oh, it's changed, it's come down, and we have projects going out because we're
Understand.
voting ARPA monies out. At the same time as we're looking towards next year, we have capital projects. For instance, we have a project next door with the courthouse where we have to upgrade the heating and air conditioning that has not been updated.
Right.
That's gonna be a $6 million project,
Correct.
just that project
Correct.
alone.
But what I'm asking is, without the Act 13 money, the grant money, what's the total physical tax dollars that are left in the account?
Well, at that time, he had stated to me, the two funds, I asked him for the Act 13 balance,
It's 28.
yeah, and I asked him for the fund balance.
Sure.
And at that time, he had said 19.
We segregate the Act 13.
Sure.
They're in a
I know
segregated,
you do.
yeah, we
I know.
segregate them.
You know,
Like, for example, Bill, look, this week, in the general fund, we're taking out 756,000.
Correct.
I don't know what we took out last week, although I can't
But he
remember.
also said that it has come down. We talked to him the other day, and he had said it's come
It
down.
functions, I understand, I fully
And
understand.
it comes down, and during the first few months of the next year, till the tax money comes in, we do have a lower balance than we do
Right.
throughout the rest of the year.
So in all actuality, we're still at 33 cents on the dollar in tax money.
What do you mean 33 cents on the dollar?
Coming out of the tax money.
The budget the amount of the budget that actually is, are you saying how much is paid by state and federal dollars?
No, out of the tax money. Is it still 33 cents on a dollar?
You mean county-wise?
Yes.
No, it's not that high.
It's not that high,
No.
so it's lower.
It's lower.
So we're looking at 20 or 23
It's,
cents.
the last time I knew, it was somewhere between 20 and 25. That'd be correct, Maya?
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a tough one to swallow, isn't it?
Well, when you look at the dollar itself, okay, we're the lowest of the three taxing bodies. Okay, the municipals, the townships, they're somewhere around 22 to 25,
Correct.
and the school districts are anywhere from 51 to 56.
Interesting.
So,
But I
But
don't
you also look at
understand
the
your
services
question.
that
When
we
you say,
provide.
right, and we provide the most services.
but Bill, what are you trying to get at when you say
That's
23
okay.
cents on it? Yeah, okay, yeah, right.
It's money
I
left
don't have
over
the
from the
exact
tax
numbers, so what are we?
dollars.
Yeah.
He can get.
Well, we never try to raise more tax dollars, right? You don't want
I'm
to,
not saying that.
Right.
The dollars and cents figuration is left over from the
No,
tax.
yeah, what these guys are talking about is
Right.
what percentage of your dollar of property tax is county. That's what they were talking
The
about.
problem is you never can put a percentile on something because people don't understand what the dollar and cents figuration is.
We agree.
okay.
And that's what I'm trying to get at.
But of the three taxing bodies, we're the lowest.
Right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment?
I don't see any online.
Okay, reports.
Payable cash requirements.
Good morning, Commissioners. Presented for your ratification are invoices due through October 25th, 2023, to be paid on October 18th for $2,536,358.32. The breakdown is as follows, with 29.81% being funded by the general fund at $756,138.25. 0.59% is coming from ARPA grants at $15,000. 60.86% is being funded by other grants and pass-through funding at $1,543,529.21. 8.70% is being funded by RMS at $220,551.56. And 0.04% is being funded by escrow at $1,139.30.
Okay, any questions? No motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll say.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to note, there was a big chunk of that, 816,000 grant is to the medical assistance program. That's on the pass-through, that's why. That and the big, almost $250,000 for children and youth,
And also West Branch
West
Drug and
Branch.
Alcohol
West Branch Drug and
for their
Alcohol.
behavioral health programs.
Right,
That's over $250,000.
yeah, so a lot of big grant pass-throughs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to info items, Maya.
Good morning.
Morning.
Just want to let you know we're going to be seeking proposals for solicitor services for the Board of Elections. The current solicitor is going to be retiring at the end of the year, so leaves a vacancy for voter services office.
Okay.
Next up,
Thank you.
Austin. Long-range transportation plan.
Austin, did we provide any of these
I could, yeah.
to the, in the back?
I didn't today. No.
Okay.
I could get additional copies if you like.
We should get them, especially for the press.
Yeah,
I don't need mine.
Yeah, give it to them and then take one.
Here,
one.
Commissioner.
That's a good idea. We have a
Commissioner.
fourth one here.
Here, Commissioner.
Very good.
Thank you.
Maybe you can email it to us.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that'd be
okay,
great.
this has the updated slides have a link where you can find the entire plan,
Yeah.
not just my presentation.
In fact, you know what, I bet the people from the press would like it emailed to them too, so that they can just cut and paste if they want to write about it.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, that's Penn, North Penn, and Pat and Jim, Mr. Stout. And John's back there.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Austin Daly. I'm a transportation planner with the Watts MPO. Today I'm here to do a update on our long-range transportation plan. So these first couple slides, I'm sorry, they're going to be a little boring compared to the rest of it, but it'll help set some context for the information provided. So the Williamsport Area Transportation Study, Watts MPO, we're a single county MPO comprised entirely within Lycoming County. MPOs were established in the 60s to basically set boundaries or requirements that local planning boards had a say in transportation projects that were being done within their boundaries. So they will approve all state expenditures of federal funds on transportation projects. Nationwide, there are a little over 500, and every urbanized area with over 50,000 people must have an NPO. Regions without 50,000 people in their urbanized area, they fall into an RPO, it's a rural planning organization. The closest example of that would be Northern Tier, so all of the counties to the north of us, they're kind of lumped together as one. Lycoming County government itself, they act as our sort of host agency. We work with them, they do a lot of our administrative stuff, but MPO activities are funded entirely through either the federal government or the state government. So 80% by the federal government, 20% by the state. Obviously, this is very fine print, but our MPOs, the boards themselves, we don't appoint individuals to them, we appoint organizations. So, for example, on the coordinating committee, we don't appoint 2 commissioners, we appoint 2 members of the Board of Commissioners. We don't appoint a mayor specifically, but the mayor, things like that. So the technical committee, they act more of a review board, reviews things in depth, and then the coordinating committee is our approval board where we take things for all MPO action. So some items that would come up for these boards would be the UPWP, which is our work program. This outlines the things that we are funded to do for the MPO. The TIP, which is the Transportation Improvement Plan, that lists out the projects that we have upcoming. And then the LRTP, which we're working on now, sets long-term goals out 20 years or so for the direction of future programming. We also have 2 advisory committees, the Transit Committee and the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee. These are sounding boards where we take things to them and get their expertise. The membership is made up of organizations that are more accustomed and able to comment on things. So for transit, for example, we work with RVTA, we work with STEP. So we would use these as resources, but they're not as established as the other 2. So the tech committee for this plan acted as a steering committee for it. And when we redid this plan, we have to do it every 5 years. We did a full rewrite on the plan. 100% was done in-house by our MPO staff as well as the committee members. And this was the first attempt that we did at incorporating scenario analysis. We're very fortunate we have Scott Williams as our transportation supervisor. Analysis and data is really his forte, so this was his project primarily, but he was the one that was able to incorporate scenario analysis where we haven't done that before. So the LRTP is based in we have to utilize other plans. We didn't want to just pull things out of the ether to sort of make things up. So we used over a dozen other plans to influence this one here. So the first scenario that we have here, and this is the most likely of them, is that we'll see a gradual decrease in population throughout Lycoming County. through to 2050. This is based on individual projections of all 52 municipalities in the county and the trend that we're seeing in each of those. So we use tax assessment, the database, to track where new residential and commercial structures were being built. This information was used to adjust our projections so that we're able to see what areas are growing the fastest and which ones are growing the slowest or decreasing the fastest. And it's extremely important that we point out that while we're concerned about overall county demographics, there are certain areas seen in the darkest green where the county's actually growing, and it's growing faster than other regions. So Wolf Township, Muncie Creek Township, and Loyalsock Township are the ones that are the darkest on the map up on the screen. So one of the demographic trends that we're seeing in Lycoming County is that we're rapidly aging. In 10 years, we've gained thousands of people aged 60 through 79 that are not just aging into those groups. So it's not like we're just, over that 10-year period, those people have gotten older. We're actively gaining additional elderly population. And in the bottom 3 bars there will show you that as a whole, Lycoming County has a greater percentage of senior citizens and a lower percentage of under 18 than both in the state of Pennsylvania and nationwide. So the trends that we see here, we have basically the mortality curve, which is the expected rate that individuals would pass away in a given year. So as you can see, the bar at the top is the highest. You're the least likely to pass away, and as you get older, you're more likely to pass away. So we need to be aware of a demographic cliff here, where as we get older and we're not seeing replacement rates with new childbirths, our population has shrunk, which leads to the second scenario here, which the easiest way to sort of describe this one is, imagine if the commissioners built a wall around the entire county and said no one comes in or out for the next 20 years, or 30 years, excuse me. And we only subsided off the people that are being born versus the people that are passing away. In this scenario, the county would experience a 20% decrease in population just based on the birth rate and the death rates offsetting one another. So this kind of tees up the third outlook that we have, and that looking at the population trends, we found a widespread undercount in municipalities across the state that had a college campus in them, specifically in 2020 when the last census was done. The hypothesis here is that during COVID, people were working from home and students were not actually in the municipalities where their college campus was. Williamsport obviously has 2, so the left chart there shows Williamsport, and the right 3 shows State College Borough for Penn State, Lewisburg Borough for Bucknell, and Bloomsburg for Bloomsburg University. And we see that there is a similar decrease in population in all 4 municipalities that otherwise would not have followed the same trend. So this last projection that we did was that if the city of Williamsport's population stabilizes and stays flat, the overall county population would actually increase over the next 30 years because the I-80 corridor, namely those townships and municipalities that were in the darkest green before, would offset the loss that we would see in the more rural areas throughout the county. So the major demographic and land use trends is that basically we're seeing land use, whether it's residential or commercial growth, in the exact same municipalities that we're seeing the growth in. It's where it's set up to be. Obviously, this is the zoning map here, so as you can see, the areas where we're growing is where we're planned and zoned to grow. We're not growing areas where we're not projected to. Lycoming County, by nature, is a rural agricultural county, and the large portion of the county is still zoned to be that way. Where Lycoming County hard to see, but there's 3 areas here where we're actually seeing growth from 2010 to 2020 was transportation and warehousing, which is, no surprise because we're strategically located along I-180 and 15. Accommodation and food services and healthcare and social assistance. So those two are a little more, common because Lycoming County as a whole, but Williamsport is the largest, municipality north of 80 in this region of the state. You have to go all the way over to like Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and out west, clear out to like Erie, Pittsburgh, north of 80. So, we're sort of a hub for those. We also are, the gateway for PA Wilds. We have extensive state lands throughout the county, as well as, a number of waterways that are, heavily utilized for outdoor rec or for, just agricultural resources. So this graphic here, shows that Williamsport is within basically 50 million people within a 250-mile radius. Williamsport's already known for hosting the Little League World Series, and with completion of CSVT and the Bellefonte interchange out on 80, we will have I-99 designation on Route 15. So we will be at basically the pinnacle of where two major interstate systems throughout both Pennsylvania and the northeast of the country is located. We also have an airport which has a brand new terminal building, and so we're well set up to host large events like the Little League World Series, athletic tournaments, conferences, and etc. So the agricultural output in Lycoming County from 2007 to 2017, that's the most recent data sets we have. They're offset from the census. There are fewer farms in Lycoming County. Those have decreased by approximately 10%, whereas the overall farmed acres in Lycoming County has increased by almost 20%. The system condition, so this is state roads throughout the county. By and large, we have a great network of conditioned roads for the state. The only major state road that has poor quality is in South Williamsport. It's on Route 15. They recently just did the improvement there. So now that that's done, there will be no major state routes in Lycoming County that have anything lower than, I believe, fair condition roads. With population decrease, we are seeing fewer people driving in Lycoming County. Just by nature, that's how it is. But traffic volumes have decreased pretty consistently with the population decrease. State-owned and locally owned bridges are generally in an excellent state of repair. The state bridges, we have very few, if any, poor condition bridges. And the locally owned ones we've been actively, this Board of Commissioners and our staff have been actively trying to cut down on the number of locally owned bridges in poor condition. As you can see here, this is the availability of fixed route transit throughout the county. Because of the aging population, we want to make sure that we have provided resources for senior citizens to be able to get throughout the county to the services that they may need. Unfortunately, with the aging population, we're seeing an increase in crashes involving senior citizens at a rate that is higher than other, demographics. Lycoming County has, multi-use trailways. We have the Pine Creek Rail Trail, we have the Riverwalk, we have the Lycoming Creek Bikeway. We've been actively working to create connectivity in these so that people who are not able to drive are able to, get from point A to point B, but also so that we have a resource for people who are just looking to come and do outdoor recreation are able to come here. So, to recap, the three potential outcomes that we've analyzed here, really the difference comes down to whether or not people are moving to Lycoming County. If people don't move to Lycoming County, we do not have the birth rates to offset our death rates. We are essentially, we need people to continue seeing Lycoming County as an attractive place to work, but also we need to be able to retain young people here. That's an issue that we've seen. which is why in prior bar graphs, we were able to see that we have plenty of people in the 10 to 18 and the 18 to 28 demographic, but we start seeing a decrease in that 28 plus, going out to basically 45 or 50. We need to be able to retain those people. Yes?
Austin, I'm having trouble seeing it, but if I see correctly, the
Yep.
population peaked in the year 2000.
Yes.
Now that is really interesting, because that was before the gas boom.
Correct.
And the question is, what was going on in 2000 that caused our population to peak? And, you know, if you remember, and this is what we were talking about at the beginning of the meeting, when we were debating about the gas industry, it was supposed to be the game changer. It was going to bring our population to 140,000 people. And you can actually see that between 2000 and 2010, there's a decline.
Mhm.
And even from 10 down to, what's that number? Is that 20?
It's 2020.
2020,
Yeah.
it's a decline.
Mhm.
That's the whole sort of decade of the gas. So what, you know, I'd be curious if we can try to think about what happened between 1990 and 2000. It may have to do with the birth rate.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's what it has to do with it. The birth rate began to really decline after 2000.
yeah. I mean, if we went back, to the slides, you can see where there's a peak basically in that 40 to 50 range. People who are 40 to 50 now, but then that generation and subsequent generations were not having as many children as the previous generations. And then you have people who are growing up here, going off to school elsewhere, and then not coming back here.
Yeah.
That's where we're seeing, that sort of gap in the population there.
Yeah.
So, it's certainly something that we'll have to try and project. One of our, outcomes of this is more closely monitoring, the the population, not just for transportation needs, but because there are different, depending on which of these three outcomes or combination of these outcomes, that's going to impact, where we have to sort of shift our resources for transportation needs. If we're getting down into that bottom one where we're seeing significant population decrease, and it's happening more in rural areas, then we need to figure out, one, how to get people in those areas the services they need, but also not straddling them with, as population decreases. I mean, this came up, significantly in the bridge bundling program, where we have these municipalities with less than 1,000 people, and a major bridge goes out that, would cost $750,000 to replace. Well, how does a municipality with less than 1,000 people afford, almost $1 million bridge? They don't.
Right.
And then when that bridge goes out, well, now their commute to work goes from 15 minutes to 40 minutes. Well, they're not going to want it. They're going to move. So it's one of those things that we'll need to keep into consideration. Yeah.
That also pertains to infrastructure also.
Right. Yeah. And this, you're very correct. And this sort of kind of outlines it here. So it's hard to read. I apologize. And this plan is available online, as well as this presentation. But basically, scenario A, if we see that the population gradually decreases at the rate it's been, about 2.5%. There are, then we would prioritize economic development, the multimodal transportation system, etc. But if we're seeing stark decreases in population in the rural areas, well, then we need to prioritize, options that lower the maintenance costs for infrastructure in rural municipalities to reduce the burden on those individuals. With each scenario, there's a different course, and everything in between, would have to remain sort of flexible. Like I said, over the next 5 years, throughout the duration of this plan's implementation period, we need to look at which forecast is tracking to be, correct, but also so that we can prioritize our efforts as a staff, to best serve the population there. We also want to, continue to monitor how well we're meeting federal and state performance measures. We want to increase public involvement. Our board meetings, the tech and coordinating committees, they are open to the public. I will warn you, they're very dense. They're not the most exciting, but they are informative. And minimizing negative external impacts on the transportation system. So when we look at projects throughout the county, obviously if there's a disaster on a state road or whatever the case may be, the state or the federal government can step in. What we need to be able to do is sort of plan for the infrastructure outside of those circumstances. So how can we continue to offset costs without just waiting for a disaster to happen, a bridge to fall in, a road to fall in, and then we can go, well, we need the money for it now. When we plan these projects out, they have to be programmed on the Transportation Infrastructure Project Implementation Plan and the TYP, which is a 12-year plan. This is the breakdown of where we're seeing our project guidance based on our financial guidance from higher powers. We're accepting public comment until November 13th of this year. It's hard to see, but you can find it at lyco.org /WATS, WATS -MPO /LRTP. And this plan will cover 2023 to 2045, and we will take the public comment into consideration after November 13th, and we will adopt on December 4th. At this point, if there's any questions or comments, I know Commissioner, before you had said, if you had additional questions about that.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've talked about extensively is how do we put together an emergency fund, and you alluded to this, because if you remember, Warrensville Road was closed for at least 2 years, I think, due to the slide. And it was closed because when we do the budgeting with the MPO, we allocate funds for different projects. And so that's where our state and federal money's going. And so there isn't just surplus money around. One of the things we've talked about, and I would recommend to the next Board of Commissioners, is that they look at, well, we've talked about this with the MPO. In fact, Mark Morawski was bringing it up at the state wide to try to, because this happens in other communities also, developing an emergency fund, and whether we look at it from Act 13 funds or something, so that we don't have to leave constituents for 2 years with a road. Now, of course, nobody wants to take Act 13 money and use it to fix roads when we can tap state and federal funds for fixing roads. So the solution may come with Mark and that statewide advisory committee pushing the state to put aside. They do have emergency funds, but they didn't have them in the amount we needed.
Yeah, the amount that's provided is a statewide pot, and
Yeah.
all it takes is one slide in Pittsburgh or something like that, and you're eating up a large portion of that. And they also, they're more intended to be used for like a known need versus we just want a nest egg of money so that we don't, have to offset it later on. It's more for like immediate need versus we want to be well prepared.
Commissioner, you brought up a good fund about the emergency funds and possibly doing that with the next board out of the Act 13 funds. And just want to note the Act 13 funds, since the inception of the Act 13 funds, Lycoming County, Senator Yaw noted this last night at the township annual fall dinner, that Lycoming County has received $48 million in Act 13 funds since the inception. And right now we are at 27 million. Okay, so our county has been very responsible. Previous boards and this board have been very responsible in spending those monies, because those monies will eventually dry up. And so there are counties that have spent all their Act 13 monies across the state. And we still have 27. Now we have, I believe, $3.5 million allocated for this year. So we'll be down to about 24. But there's more money coming in. Last night I think there was another $4 million coming in.
Right.
So to replenish that. So I just want to note that that's a good idea, but at the same time we have to continue to be vigilant on how we spend those monies and make sure they're for generational things.
Yeah, absolutely, and also for things where we can leverage them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And get others. So it's not actually necessarily a great idea to use it for the emergency road. It's really better to try to get the state pushed on that. The other thing is, you went kind of quickly over one slide.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. You did a great job. And frankly, we saw this presentation at the chamber meeting yesterday at 7:30 in the morning. But and I had seen it other times, but there was a very important word that Scott Williams used, and one of the slides, and it said a shift in the paradigm from having people growing our population from the inside as opposed to growing the population from people coming from the outside. Paradigm shift from Lycoming County as an origin for trips to Lycoming County as a destination. That is really critical. And so that is the focus of how do we make Lycoming County a place people want to come to. Like people go to Adams County to go to Gettysburg. Now it helps if you happen to have a Gettysburg there, right? But if you don't have a Gettysburg, you always work with what you have. And what we have is an incredible outdoor recreation, which they don't have. I mean, they have outdoor recreation, but they don't have it like we have it. And so the goal of the planning department and the commissioners and all the township officials, this isn't like a one-trick pony where it's just the county doing it. We have to get every municipality doing it. That's where our recreation plan is going to be excellent. Because look at it and they say, my gosh, I want to live there. Then people will come from the outside. And if they come young, the birth rate will boost the population.
Reality says we need to start having kids, children.
That's
reality.
Yeah.
We're down to 1.7.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
The
If you're not
reality
over
is
2,
you've got
you're
to
gonna
have
lose
good paying
population.
jobs in the first place in industry. You don't have to, with what's coming in, it's nickel and dime jobs flipping burgers, and that doesn't help the situation any.
Yeah.
We've
So,
talked,
but John, just so you realize, go ahead. No, we have some
We-
good jobs coming in.
we've talked to employers.
Yeah, like Geisinger built a hospital. A lot of those jobs are tech, they're not $10, $12 an hour jobs, But to the commissioner's point, obviously people 65 years old are not going to be having 1.7 kids, right? So you've got to get the young people here. And the only way you're going to get the young people here is if the schools are great and if there's early learning so that they know, because as I said last night, this is not 1970. Women are in the workforce. Frankly, we need them in the workforce, but they want to be in the workforce. So what are they going to do? They're also committed to their children, right? So you have to have that early learning piece. You have to have excellent schools, and you have to have recreation. Where do they want to go on a weekend? What are they going to do on a weekend, right? After you go, and I'm not dissing any of the places, but after you go a couple of times to a local bounce house, you want kids to go, and I don't mean that disparagingly. Okay? I mean it in all seriousness. There has to be activities for families to do.
Commissioner, you bring up some very good points that are valid, but one major issue that is lacking is attainable housing.
Yes.
We have talked to many employers, one as recent as UPMC. The CEO says we have people here that are relocating here. All kinds of professions through UPMC, from doctors to nurses. They can't find attainable housing. They're going to Union County and commuting. They're going to Clinton County commuting. They're going where they can find homes that they would choose to live in that are attainable. We need to get that attainable housing in Lycoming County.
Absolutely.
And we've
we're
had
doing it.
employers over and over tell us this.
Right.
If you don't have a place to live, you're not going to come here to start with.
No, and that's where we have our housing starts program.
Right.
Maybe that's where some of the Act 13 money will continue.
And so we do have people wanting to come here. They're choosing to because of their professions. We hear it from our employers.
Yeah.
But they're not living here because they can't find that attainable housing they choose to live in.
Military as well. My husband
Right.
has several soldiers who are staying in like Mifflinburg and
Yes.
Lewisburg
Yes,
because they couldn't find a house here.
Yeah.
exactly.
It doesn't help when you bring in an industry like you have the Jersey Shore, and 3 houses or 4 houses are gone that take away from the tax base that I have to pay for the difference, and you give them a 7-year break on a multi-billion-dollar.
John, we'll have time for public comment. If you want to come up and state that, you're welcome to.
Okay, but
Okay, thank you.
Wait, Austin, thanks for the great work that you all did on this.
Yeah, thank you.
And,
You guys really worked hard on this.
It's helpful as a plan for us moving forward,
Yeah, it was great to work on
That's
this.
Scott. For Sal.
And Sal, yes. And Scott, the whole
Thank you, Sal.
team. They are all the future of transportation in the county. They're doing a fabulous
Appreciate it.
job.
Thank
And
you.
you're funded by who?
the state and federal government.
Your salaries.
Yeah.
100%.
Amen.
100% amen.
Sal was just kind enough to bring down, so we have cards here that they have a QR code in the back, you can scan, it'll take you right to the plan.
Is it on the back desk there?
Yep,
and
I'll
anybody
leave it
wants
on
to
the
take
back.
one at the-
Thanks.
Yeah, and Sal, thank you. Sal coordinates all the, right?
Yeah.
Sal coordinates the MPO and Scott Williams, teamwork.
Good teamwork.
Okay, thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, personnel action. Sally?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Seeking your approval on the following personnel actions. An assessment, Emmeline Gillen, Clerk 3, full-time replacement, $15.88 per hour, 75 hours per pay, transfer date of October 29th. At RMS, Gary Evans to an equipment operator position, full-time replacement, $20.09 per hour, 80 hours per pay, transfer date of the 29th. At RMS, Carissa Seals for comptroller/business manager, full-time replacement, $78,400 per year, 80 hours per pay period with a transfer date of November 12th. In the Public Defender's Office, Alyssa Fenoy for an assistant public defender, full-time replacement, $60,500 per year, 75 hours per pay period with a transfer date of the 29th. In JPO, Andrew Arnold for a JPO Officer 2, full-time replacement, $23.82 per hour, 75 hours per pay, with a retro date back to April 10th. In JPO again, Megan Helmanack, Juvenile Probation Officer 2, full-time replacement, $23.82 per hour, 75 hours per pay, retro date back to February 27th. In JPO, Caitlin Lunger for a JPO Officer 2, full-time replacement, $24.53 per hour, 75 hours per pay period with a retro date back to the first of the year.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Is there any comments or questions regarding these appointments?
Those retro dates, that was a result of the union contract? Oh, yeah.
Yes, and those
Okay.
were some that were clerically missed, so we had to readjust.
Right, we made there were clerical errors, right.
Yes.
Great, so they were entitled to the money, that's the point.
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to action items, 5.1. Kristen?
Morning, Kristen.
Good morning, Commissioners. I believe 5.1 is agreement with the Jersey Shore Area Joint Water Authority.
Correct.
That's correct.
That can be removed from the agenda. I am waiting for additional information from that authority on the project which may affect the agreement.
You want us to move to table it?
Yes.
Motion to table,
I'll move to table.
second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. So everybody table.
5.2 is an amendment to the agreement with Lycoming County Water and Sewer Authority, which amends the agreement in the following way. The first is to increase the amount of the award by $500,000. This is in accordance with the ARPA competitive water and sewer project funds that were awarded by the commissioners on September 21st. These additional funds will be used towards the Limestone water system distribution improvement. Number 2 is it will change the name of Mifflin Manor Sewer System Engineering Evaluation to the Mifflin Manor Treatment Building. And then inside the agreement, it will adjust the project budgets as follows. And when I say project budgets, I do not mean the actual award amount, other than already paid. This is just within that award what money goes to which project. So with the addition of the $500,000 to the agreement, the Limestone Township's water distribution system will be increased to $880,000. And I did notice an error on the Armstrong Sewer System Inflow and Infiltration Project and the Beaver Lake Sewer System Lakeside Drive Sewer Main Extension Project. These amounts should be $22,740 for the Armstrong Township project and $27,173 on, $22,740 on the Armstrong Township project and $27,260 on the Beaver Lake project. Once again, this is not an increase in the overall project. This is just moving monies within the agreement. And that is to cover, so that is a difference of $4,433 in between those two projects. So again, those amounts should be $22,740 for Armstrong Township, and $27,260 for Beaver Lake.
Okay.
That is all that is covered in the amendment.
Okay, thank you. A motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you, have a good day.
You too.
5.3, Commissioners seeking your approval on Resolution 2023-22. This is approving a plan of financing by the Lycoming County Authority to undertake a project for the benefit of Lycoming College. They were in last meeting and presented on the what they are liking to do.
Yep. Okay, a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 So carried.
All right, 5.4 through 5.6, Maya.
Good morning,
Morning, Maya.
Commissioners. The first item I have for you, 5.4, is vote to approve the price quote with eForce for the data conversion of Lycoming Regional Police, Montourville Police Department, South Williamsport Police Department, Muncie Police Department, and Hughesville Police Department. It's in the amount of $125,000. So each agency is $25,000 in costs. And again, this is part of the earlier process where we approved eForce to help with our data conversion,
So
our
this-
records management system.
This is a good program in the sense that it's helping 6 police departments across the county. It provides officer safety because they're getting real-time information. At the same time, they can download their information, be on the street longer, and less time doing paperwork back at the station. And
Sharing the same information too.
sharing the same information, which could save an officer's life on the safety end of it. So we're excited about this. It's coming out of the ARPA funds, which is the public safety, which allocated $1 million towards public safety, and it'll be coming out of that allocation.
It's hard to believe that in 2023, if an officer stops somebody in Williamsport, and then 2 hours later that person is doing something down in Muncie that was also in violation of the law, that they wouldn't know that they'd been stopped 2 hours earlier in Williamsport. And Commissioner Masser, I think, made a good point at the meeting earlier this week with the police officers, that he remembers the day when they were, was it Matt, I think? Remember the day when they would come in 8 years ago?
Where
They would come in with the slips of paper. Tell them that.
Copies.
Copy.
In order to distribute and share information among departments, they would copy and just hand out copies of this information.
We stopped this person. And
Information that, photos of stuff at pawn shops and who was allegedly pawning the stuff off so they could be on the lookout. We're actually handing out Xerox copies. That's the way we shared information.
now it's all real time. Yeah, it's good.
Absolutely.
Great for our communities.
It is.
And this gets the foundation into each department, and then they'll maintain the yearly cost. Each department will maintain the yearly cost behind it. So, a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
The next item I have for you is vote to approve the memorandum of understanding with Jersey Shore Borough and Citizens House Fire Company. This is to assist in their efforts in the construction of a public safety building in their borough. This outlines the funding commitments and also the county's funding commitments towards helping assist our needs with a MDJ office in that location as well.
Yep, so it'll be the police department, the fire company, public safety building, at the same time our district justice, which is in dire need of a public safety building. We've had major issues up there at her office, and she needs to be in a safe location, which will be with the police right next door, so. Have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
You know, and
Comments, yeah.
just to add, you know, with all of the new facilities that we're looking to be involved with, construct, we always need to remember to have in mind the potential for a polling place.
Right,
Yes.
good point.
Plus,
So, yeah,
the current magistrate's office is also in the floodplain,
right,
Yes.
which this one will not be.
right. just, if anyone's looking at the agenda, it says Citizens House. It's
Oh,
actually
Hose.
Citizens Hose. But the
Yeah.
MOU is correct. It says
Yes.
Citizens Hose.
Sorry, that's
So
a typo on my
if you end
part.
up looking at the agenda, don't copy that one. Yeah, this is a great project and one that took a lot of effort by all the people up in Jersey Shore. And I know that there were bumps along the way, as Mr. Shireman noted, that there were houses torn down. We're hoping that, and we're planning that the jobs that are created and the people that will come in to fill those jobs will expand the tax base. Some people may disagree whether that happens, but that's what our plan is.
Not for 7 years.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a motion,
I'll move to approve.
second.
Not for 7 years on the improvement.
Yeah, not for 7 years on the
I don't
improvement.
know.
Yeah.
We're taking a vote. I have a second?
I did.
He did.
Second.
Okay, any comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried, thank you.
Okay.
And the last item I have for you is vote to approve purchase and installation of garage door openers for the new corner's office building. It's from MR Garage in the amount of $11,378. We did seek 6 additional quotes. MR came back as the lowest bidder for that project.
Okay, so, first motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, comment, we're excited about, we met with the architect again this week on corners. We've met with them, I believe, at least twice, maybe 3 times. But the corners building, which we purchased for $399,000, the first phase, they projected to be done in April or March of 2024. And he has his vehicles parked up there now. The building's basically been gutted. So he's able to park his vehicles there for the winter. And we've had PRC help with the project also. Our maintenance department was fantastic with the getting the building ready. That'll be the first phase. The second phase, which will be the addition build on, well, they're projecting that to be completed in June 2025.
Correct.
So,
And we just had a pre-bid meeting yesterday for the construction management side. We had 4 bidders, which was great to see. And one of those bidders actually had taken on some work, I believe, in Lackawanna, same type of similar project. So that's promising. And probably I'm anticipating the beginning of the year, we'll probably have the actual construction for phase 1 and 2 actually out on the street for bidders to bid on.
okay.
So if we do it
Great.
any earlier, it'd probably be poor planning, just getting the holiday season.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and it is 2023 budgeted item.
Correct.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Hutch?
Director Hudson is otherwise busy this morning, so this is Beth, and I'll be handling his item if that's okay.
Yep, thank you.
This is for the upfitting of the EMA truck in the amount of $33,214.62. $15,000 of that will be covered by task force funding. The remaining $18,000 and change will be covered by Sarah fees. This will cover all the slider beds, the caps, and all the emergency equipment for the vehicle. And this should be the last of the fees for that vehicle. It is a budgeted item for 2023.
Okay, thank you. A motion,
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
all in favor say aye.
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 So carried.
5.8, Beth, agreement with Motorola.
Good morning again, Commissioners. This is for a change order with Motorola for the combiners for the radio system. This was a placeholder in the original contract. The combiners in the radio system are not something that can be an exact science until everything is in place and we know exactly what is needed. Change orders in the amount of $104,736.90. And it is a budgeted item for 2023.
Okay, motion,
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Okay, Forrest,
Good morning.
good morning.
The item today is a revised schedule for polling place payments. The change is to add some additional language that is to account for the new circumstance that we are using some school buildings now in the county as polling places in order to be accessible. And so we needed to add some notes to account for that.
Can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any questions for Forrest? Comments?
Forrest, you might as well, when we're done with this, announce what the Board of Elections voted on in terms of the change of that polling place, just to get it out there once again.
Sure.
Well, let us, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so motion second. All fair side?
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Okay, Forrest.
Yeah, the Board of Elections, we did hold an emergency meeting yesterday to do a polling place change. We had one of our regular facilities has some emergency construction going on there. So Williamsport 3rd Ward normally votes at the William Hepburn Apartments, but they will be voting in the November election only at the Monsignor Fleming Center, actually alongside the 9th Ward. They'll be on opposite sides of the room. We never like to make a change this close to the election, but things sometimes happen. As we remember last year, we had to make a change at the last minute because a facility had a structural issue. So when we have to do that, we will. Letters are going out to the affected households in the 3rd Ward. There's been a media release already. It will be reflected in our polling place list that we make available on the website as well.
Yeah. It's important to get the word out to everyone.
And in the newspaper at the week before the election, it'll show up in there as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5.10, Alexa, 2024 CAP Coordinator.
Morning, Alexa.
Good morning, Commissioners. Seeking your vote to approve Action 5.10. This is a grant offered by the Department of Environmental Protection as part of the Pennsylvania Phase 3 Watershed Implementation Plan that focuses on local solutions to reduce nutrient pollution in our waterways. So it is a two-part grant. $100,000 of this grant will be allocated towards the CAP coordinator role, and $200,000 will be allocated for CAP implementation. The $100,000 CAP coordinator funds will be split between Northumberland County and ourselves. $50,000 will go to them, $50,000 will stay here. The $20,000 CAP implementation funds will stay within Lycoming County to help implement projects in our county that will reduce nutrient pollution. We currently have 2 projects on our application for 2024. The first one is the Spring Garden Fish Habitat Project, Phase 2. Lycoming County Conservation District will assist with this project as long with Trout Unlimited. And the second is the Lycoming Creek Sports and Fish Habitat Project Enhancement that will also be assisted with Lycoming County Conservation District and the PA Fish and Boat Commission. Lycoming County has been very successful with the CAP grant as we have completed 5 stream restoration projects in the county and fish habitat projects as well.
Okay, thank you. A motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5.11, Jenny.
Hello, good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Jenny.
So I have 3 separate contracts that are all related. They are for $1 million worth of fair projects, and that's the Pennsylvania Housing Affordability and Rehabilitation Enhancement Fund. These are agreements for grant applications we submitted last fall to the state, and we just now received the full contracts. So there's a 3-part contract. The first is STEP's Regional Homes in Need Project, and that's for $200,000. The second is also with STEP, the Supportive Housing Project, Housing Program for $200,000. And then the last contract has 8 programs for $600,000. That is STEP's Urgent Need Program for $50,000, and STEP, who is now taking over the Master Leasing Program, for $200,000. Greater Habitat for Humanity's Scott Street Build for $25,000. Habitat's Home Preservation Program for $25,000. North Central PA YWCA, the Liberty House Program for $100,000. There's 3 more, almost done. American Rescue Workers, the Rental Assistance Program for $100,000. New this year are the Lycoming Clinton Joinder Board. They have a new interim housing program, and we're funding that at $52,000. And last, the Asbury Foundation Albright Life Center, they have a rental assistance program, and that's for $48,000.
Great. Okay.
And I should note that this is, with these funds, it'll be $12.6 million we've secured from PHFA for affordable housing projects to date.
Great, thank you for your hard work. A motion.
I'll move to approve, and I have to ask the solicitor. So solicitor, I don't think I've been through this road with Mr. Smith. So our business participates in one of these, or in multiples of these as a landlord, but I don't think that because we're in a general class of landlords, that we're obligated.
We fund the agency.
They fund the agency, and then
Yep.
the agency then selects who it
Yep.
is. So I don't think, okay.
Yeah,
I just
you're
wanted,
okay.
for full disclosure, I didn't want to,
No.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, a motion.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All fair side?
Aye.
All right, so carried, thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Commissioner comment?
Yeah, you know, we get around the community, and one of the biggest problems that we have right now is childcare. There's no question about it, and the cost, especially after COVID, and the cost of it. And part of that cost is what are the expectations from the state, the federal government? What are the expectations of our population in general of their children preschool? And when you look back and you see the Industrial Revolution, we had no early learning back then. We had a lot less population, right? We had less welfare. So what is going on? How do we have so many more people and we don't have that innovation taking place like it did back then? And I know some of the reasons why. But when you take a look at the cost of early learning and what we expect from it, how is it affordable? How do we make it affordable? Because I think that's probably the number one question that people ask us, at least me, today, is I can't afford childcare. You know, my neighbor who rents from us works awfully hard, and she has to stay home with the child or children 2 times out of the week, and then she hires a sitter for them during the day the other 3 times, and you know it's so difficult for them to make money as a business. There is where we need to put our emphasis, because we don't have the workforce. And when women drop out of the workforce, listen, I like to stop feeding the animal, and the animal's government, you know. But when they drop out of the workforce, we've got a hole that we can't replace, and it's really difficult.
One thing we have done is we've allocated some of the ARPA monies, $1.1 million towards early childhood. And as we noted last night at the township supervisors meeting, they did, there's 2 entities that the planning department right now is vetting to bring to us to try to attack this.
But unfortunately, that's not generational.
No, it isn't.
That's a short, very short term. It's, to me, maybe a waste.
Well, so can I point out to you how it is generational? So part of it, and you hit the nail on the head, part of it is we have to change the paradigm in which we think. This is not babysitting. This is not child care. This is early learning. And so what it means is that if we get our kids into the process of learning before they go to kindergarten, study after study has shown that they perform better in elementary school, they perform better in high school, they don't drop out. And so the early learning is saying, and what we also have to think in our paradigm shift is that we're competing not just, you know, in all the major cities, many of the school districts have early learning programs. And the question is, what do we need to do to change the state to maybe make it universal? But if we get them in early, they learn and they do better later on. So it's...
No, we understand that, but
Yeah.
that's...
Well, that's why it's generational.
But people, right. but they're not gonna take those jobs at $12 an hour.
No, that's the reason why.
And so
Penn
then
College
it
ended
becomes the
their program.
affordability aspect.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right, but remember, when a highly skilled technical company is coming here to look at the workforce, they're looking at what is the capacity for me to continue that workforce in 10 years.
Our schools, our elementary schools and our high schools, they've done it before, they can do it again. That's what we need. We need
Yeah.
people that,
Well, so here's the thing. Remember, if you start a kid teaching at 3.5, they're going to do better reading in kindergarten. You know what? We had a meeting, and we have a program that's run at the James B. Brown Library that prepares kids for kindergarten. And the teachers love it because they said when the kids come to kindergarten, some of them don't know how to open a milk carton. Some of them don't know how to tie shoes, right? They don't necessarily know what colors are. So think in terms of the earlier you get them. What I'm always amazed at is in China, these kids are learning English pre-kindergarten. So that's who we're competing against, right? For manufacturing. And Germany, the kids, often speak multiple languages. They always speak German and they speak English, so.
It comes down to finding a child care worker and paying them a livable wage, that they're going to be able to do so. Because right now, that's not going on. We've seen it with our daycare centers. And that's the reason why Penn College ended their program, because it wasn't a livable wage. And that's the reality of it. Until those wages come up, these daycare centers are not going to be able to find workers to teach those kids those
Right.
skills.
And that's where the STEP proposal talks about needing help from the private sector. Businesses can recognize that it's an investment, and just as they provide support for health insurance, they can provide support. It doesn't mean they pay the whole thing, but if they want to keep, it's a great incentive, so. We'll find a solution there, but I think if we just recognize that it's an early learning opportunity for us, it's a way to improve things.
Anything else?
No, well, actually, you were up, Commissioner.
Commissioner, you had something else?
no,
Good. Do you have anything else?
Well, I was going to say, yesterday we had the pleasure of giving a certificate to Helen Pesatini, who turned 100 years old. And it was, I think all three of us enjoyed the experience. We asked her for some advice on how to get to live to be 100. And so she said to us, don't smoke, alcohol in moderation, and don't eat so much fast food.
Only the Lord knows when you're gonna go. If some people live to 100, that's who decides it in the end.
Okay. So we try to look at things positively and recognize that this woman has been on the planet for 100 years.
I know two people in Jersey Shore.
So anyway, she's been on the planet for 100 years, and she gave us this advice, and we thought it was really nice. It was a nice experience. Her daughters were there, and her grandchildren, and her great-grandchild, and she's on the possibility of having a great-great-grandchild in January. So we wish her, Helen, the best of luck. We enjoyed visiting with you, and many years to come.
and, if I could add, it was really, she is sharp, right? And she's very involved politically yet. And so just, Scott goes up and introduces himself. Hey, I'm Scott. It's good. Yes, I said I'm Tony Masser, and then she looks at me, she says, hi, Mr. Merrifield. I said, you must be a Democrat. And she goes, yes. So we asked her who her three favorite presidents were. What did she say, Eisenhower?
No.
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
John F. Kennedy and Obama.
And Obama.
Yeah,
And when I left,
2 out of 3.
Yeah,
she was great.
I bent down to shake her hand, and
Yeah.
I said, it was a pleasure to meet you. And she had this little sly smile, and she says, it was nice to meet you, but you're in a house full of Democrats.
We didn't even know that when we got there.
I know, and I said, that's okay, ma'am. I said, we're all Americans.
It's
a pleasure to meet
pleasure.
you. Yeah.
Those are opportunities that, commissioners get to take advantage of. They're
She's a
just
sweet
awesome.
person. Yeah.
Awesome experiences.
Okay, public comment. And anyone, please come up and ask you to keep your comments to county issues. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good
Morning.
morning to people in the county, and good
Yes.
morning to the staff of the county. Today, I came forward on a couple of issues, which we started earlier. I hold my good book up here. It's called The Book of Hard Knocks. Let's talk about nonprofit organizations not being taxed in Lycoming County. The numbers are astronomical. The dollar and cents figuration is astronomical. That would take the burden off the taxpayers who are retired. That's something that has to be addressed and looked at. And I can guarantee one thing, it probably is not going to happen. Back in April, I submitted you a plan from another county in Pennsylvania. Since then, there's been 5 more counties have went after nonprofit because their payrolls are astronomical. They should be paying their fair share. The retired people can no longer afford what's going on in Lycoming County. And as we stated here before, population is not growing. A lot of people, a lot of seniors are leaving the area. I was at a meeting Tuesday night who retrofitted this saying that, quote, we can only afford to do so much. And after the fact comes to court, it was brought up about nonprofit. Nonprofits is a sticky situation. They make more money than all 4 of you people sitting here, the top CEOs. Their payroll's astronomical. Last night, going through a paper, which was not even local, came out of a Pittsburgh paper, also a Maryland paper, a Virginia paper. They put together an area with nonprofit where their payroll is astronomical, and they're $9.99 for them. They go anywhere from $555,000 down to $200,000. Their workforce is astronomical. They all get paid with money. If you can pay that kind of money, they should be able to pay their fair share of taxes. May it be a flat tax, or may it be another kind of tax. We have to address this. And I'm glad that we got a corners building, but it would have been nice, if the college would have stepped up and said, let's do something for the whole county. Let's give them that building instead of paying for it. The college, nonprofit, they got more money in this county, has 5 times over. All these colleges do. We're a college town. Yes, we have attractions, but I'm telling you, the senior people in this county who own a lot of property cannot afford to continue on carrying the weight that's going on in this county. We all know here in 2020, if it wouldn't have been for the seniors paying their property taxes, the county wouldn't have been afloat. Is that not true? It's a sad situation today. I come here. Generally, in rule of thumb, I like to talk about some positive stuff. There was positive stuff. We did a a bundling of bridges. Astronomical, did a great job. We had construction on a lot of highways. But that's a sore spot in some areas because the townships, quote unquote, have to pay for lighting on state and federal highways because it's in their township. Shouldn't be that way. So in that sense, we're looking at increases in property taxes because of the fact we have to pay for when we do different things on road constructions. And the problem is, the ARPA money is an interesting situation. We look at the ARPA money, and I think to myself, when I got involved in this when it first came out, it was gave for different purposes. Unfortunately, I know of 10 people in the county, locally here, that needed a new roof put on their house. Now, we want to keep the people in Lycoming County in the county on the tax roll. When you're retired and you're looking at an $18,000 roof, don't have the money, and the ARPA fund was put aside to do certain things, and then we pass it on to another nonprofit who don't have roofing people. Shouldn't be that way. It should be there to help the people who have problems. Again, I've talked about this numerous times, 1,000 meetings. I have 3 or 4 a week. Every time we look at this, we think to ourselves, what can we do to make it better? We got people out there in this county can't afford to take prescription medication because they can't afford it. Because they have to put their house and stuff in place. Can't do that stuff. But anyhow, that's my spiel. I'm sticking to it. We have to do something in this county for nonprofit. We have to. Back in April and May, I gave you a statue. What happened in York County? They did the same, they're doing the same thing as I'm talking about today. We don't look at nonprofit right.
What did they do? I didn't see
They
the
taxed the
specific.
nonprofit hospitals.
How did they do that?
Attention of the courts, okay?
Yeah, but I assume the hospital has appealed it.
The hospital could not back out of it because they had turned over all their records, what their CEOs made, what their staffing makes, how many properties they own, and they came around and said the people of that county can no longer continue on going down this path. And they won the case.
Well, you know
We
what,
shouldn't have-
I might have missed that, but I'll look at it and,
I turned it into everyone. Everyone got a copy of that.
okay.
And the thing of it is, we have to look at this nonprofit. Us senior citizens can't afford it anymore. Just can't do it. Your upkeep on your house, I'll give you a prime example. An upkeep on a house, you can run anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000 a year, counting all your expenditures. And the amount of money that you pay out, when you throw taxes and stuff involved, it's astronomical. We need to get more help out there for the seniors in the ADA question. We don't have the right parking facilities in this area. We do not have places for certain people to park so they can come to certain things. We have an area of disillusion because you sometimes have to come early to find a parking place. And then you have to walk X, Y, Z to get to the place. But I know it's a problem because the county seats in Williamsport, and the county has to deal with what they're dealt. So listen, I appreciate.
Well, I just want to address one thing. We do and I'm not necessarily defending any of the nonprofits, I agree with you, but some of the laws need to be changed at the state level. If a building is not being used for a nonprofit purpose, they're required to pay taxes. Now, one of the things the next Board of Commissioners could do is they could do an audit, and this was done maybe 10 or 15 years ago. We've not done one in the last 12 years. Did you do one?
Of the UPMC?
Yeah.
Yeah, they provided us, because we questioned them.
For how many years ago?
They provided us, that has to be back in my first term.
Right. So you're talking over 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a bad idea, but he's correct. They provided it's an audit. We asked
Of
of
who
which
they're charging
facilities,
rent and
right.
What is nonprofit?
Right. Which buildings are being used for profit purposes and which buildings are nonprofit purpose. Now, having said that, I told you there was legislation. We can look at the York County legislation, but there's been a bill in the legislature to say that if a CEO makes more than 5 times the median income or 10 times, that they will put something towards it. And I think that some of the municipalities could probably renegotiate some of the pilots, the payment in lieu of taxes. And actually, the county could initiate a discussion of payment in lieu of taxes.
I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
If this budget goes south, I'm hoping it doesn't,
Which budget?
next year's budget in the county.
Oh, it's not going south.
Okay.
No, we're in good fiscal shape.
Well, you've got to understand a few things. We take on a lot of stuff. That's possible.
Yeah.
If we
you're
take
right.
Act 13 out of there, we take grants out of there, we ain't gonna survive. But anyhow.
Wait a minute, it's always been that way.
No, it hasn't been that way. I've been here all my life, 74 years. Been around here, been there and done that. I worked here all my whole life.
Well, no, something you say is we need to be careful that the state doesn't start to shift more costs to the county, like we've seen with the APO, with the adult probation.
That's been going on for 30 years.
Yeah, declining,
Yeah.
yeah.
States-
I think that's the point Bill's making, that if they did that.
What you
States
have-
gotta stop spending money, that's the problem.
Here's the problem. I want to tell you
We
right
have
now,
other people speak,
every time I turn around and look in the papers, it's amazing to me why a local paper does not publicize the stuff that people should know.
Well,
You have to go hunting for it.
That's out of our control, so.
I know it, no, I know it. But
Yep.
listen, I appreciate that, I'm glad you see this. But again, maybe all the seniors should get the group together and go nonprofit. At a yard sale.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Good morning, Commissioners. Haven't been here in a while. I have one joy to celebrate. I've had major eye surgery of both eyes and can drive and don't need glasses.
Good for you.
And the world looks a lot better and a lot brighter.
Wow.
Getting on to the serious side, I had to change my conversation a little bit. What I was going to say concerning Jersey Shore and the municipal building up there. There's a lot of downfalls to that building. First of all, if they build up where they want to, they're going to have to build in sections because they will have to tear down, build a new building for the fire company first so that they can house their engines. And then it is going to have to be done in phases, which is going to up the cost of it. And second of all, with the expansion of the West Company and possible that borough building up there with the district justice's office is going up there. Also, the borough building and the fire company and the police station all in one maybe. That is going to create a lot of traffic congestion with the people coming to the West Company and parking and all that. It's going to have to be done in phases. And I don't know whether it's for the good or not, because there will be at least 2 vacant buildings if it does take place. Basically, the Jersey Shore Borough will be walking out of the building that was remodeled, completely remodeled less than 20 years ago, and a police station, so I don't know what will dispose of the property. Referring back to part of what I said, I, as a taxpayer in Jersey Shore here, there's not going to be any increase in taxes from the West Corporation for over 7 years. And the same way with the school district. There's been housing taken down because of this. And it's a reduction in income to the borough, and the same with the school district. The school district also had to sign a 7-year waiver for taxes on new district. Come on, I'm paying that difference out of my pocket. It's coming from John Q. Public up there. I get waxed twice, and everybody else does in Jersey Shore. And we're given a tax break for people to come in here to build that are a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And the problem with part of the development of Lycoming County, everything is to the east, Williamsport on down through 15, across Montgomery, Montoursville, Hughesville, all the way up through. There's nothing been planned for the rest of the county, north of the county and west of the county. And Jersey Shore is a good example. And this is where we're paying for a lot of poor planning. You have in the boards in Williamsport and with down in the mall right now, a developer that gets several $1 million in contracts, a 5-year guaranteed loan with it, and we haven't even seen any substantial plans of what they're going to do with it. This is what's part of the problem with this county is all the development has been planned for down at one end. And as far as housing goes in Jersey Shore, there's no room for housing because we're surrounded on three sides by Porter Township. So if any housing comes, it'll be on Porter Township land, farmland, or whatever. And Jersey Shore will not see any of it. And I'll make it very short. But with what's planned, and if it goes through, will be a heck of a lot of traffic congestion up the town with everything. And you're planning a $10 million facility. And believe me, the way things are now, I would leave it the way it is because there are going to be too many people under the same building, under committee, trying to decide who's going to take care of what repairs with it. And again, I will bring up Washy Run. which every year that goes by, the construction costs are gonna go up on that. And that is the first thing you take care of before you build community buildings, is infrastructure. Thank you.
John, before you leave, let me just point out a couple things. We're sometimes caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to competing with private sector corporations, and you raise a good point. You know, the West Company was saying that they have plants in other states and they could relocate in other states.
Well, they already walked away from one.
All right, so the question becomes, as elected officials, do we, put in place something like Alerta? And there were other programs we were going to put in place, and I frankly said, well, I wouldn't support those. But the Alerta, I was willing to support because it's on the improvements. They'll still pay the taxes that they pay.
I understand that,
Right.
but that does not lead to a tax.
I understand that.
Increase in taxes coming in.
Right.
Into the borough.
No, you're absolutely right. Although in 7 years it will.
Yeah.
I know. In 7 years, we're faced with this challenge of when they tell us they might move somewhere else. And this happens with states. You know, I'll go to Kentucky. I'll go to Alabama. They're going to give me no sales tax, none of this. It's a challenge. And maybe we need something so that states are not competing with each other, spiraling downward. That's something the federal government would have to do. They would have to, so that we don't spiral downward with states, we just get people putting on the line what they're willing to do. That's one thing. The thing about the buildings, we went through the police station.
It's deplorable.
I know it is.
Yeah, I know you know. You live up there.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that will go and be torn down. I have no idea. Maybe it'll become housing. I have no idea. But I guess my point is that these buildings reach the end of their useful life, and then the question is, do you pour more money into them, or do you try to start from scratch? Here's the other positive thing, John. There's a lot of grant money coming into that multi-use building because of the fact that the state and federal government recognize that the borough is combining uses.
Yeah, but in the long run, with the committee that has to run it, and I've been through the plans and I've been to the meetings, could be a real conglomeration of deciding who's going to pay for what when it comes to repair times. And the other thing that is overlooked, okay, with a small community like Jersey Shore, with the additional traffic, truck traffic and everything else, and even Porter Township, how that puts an extra beating on the roads that they were not designed to do. And can the townships, like Jersey Shore, when it comes down to it, can they afford to repair the roads that because of the extra traffic and beating the roads, the infrastructure takes? Infrastructure is what comes first. Thank you.
John, we recognize that. That's why we allocated money towards Jersey Shore Water Authority, so that their 100-year-old water system could be updated. And it's 114 years old. We saw that. We see it's an issue when you have a house fire in Jersey Shore and the water pressure in the hospital goes down.
Well,
so let me finish. So we recognize, Jersey Shore, it's a very important community in the western end of the county, but several things you say, you say that everything grows east. Well, there was a reason why maybe it doesn't grow west, because of what you just said. The traffic, there's not room to grow up in Jersey Shore. It's the same way in the borough of Montoursville. You can't build any more houses in the borough of Montoursville because it's built. There's certain areas where you can't develop. City of Williamsport's in a land block like that right now, where you have to either renovate what you have because you can't put additional homes on land that doesn't exist because there's already homes there. So we've addressed many things, but I want to also emphasize something here. We are one taxing body. School district has their own issues, and God bless them, because they try to tackle those issues. The townships, the boroughs have their issues. The city of Williamsport has their issues. They try to tackle them. Okay, they have many issues that they have to face each and every year. We as a county provide the most services, yet we have the lowest tax of the three bodies. And we haven't raised taxes in the last 4 years. And we're going to try to continue to maintain that theory, that outlook, the best we can do by providing services to our constituents.
Well, you're only able to afford 66 cents out of every dollar that comes in with it. So there's views on both sides. I'm concerned about my community.
We are
And
too. We are too.
And I have a little bit. maybe better view of it than what you do.
You live there, I understand
I
there, but.
live there and
Right.
and realize things on both sides of the
Yeah.
coin, from being a private citizen as well
Right.
as being on the school board.
Right.
But like I said, what irks me most is we've got to pay a corporation to come in here with it.
I understand that.
You know, and I'm paying for it twice out of my pocket,
Right.
and they're taking away land, and then I've got to make up for it, me and a lot of other senior citizens up there. Thank you.
We have a problem with the statewide where Pennsylvania is not employer friendly. There's too many regulations, there's too many taxes in the state of Pennsylvania. We have to attract businesses and industry here, and the LERTA program is one way we can do so.
My grandson got fed up here. He's moved out of the area and down to Fort Lauderdale, or down to St. Petersburg, Florida, you know? And what I said, I'm sorry if I'm dragging over on this.
No, that's
But
okay.
anyways, you're paying for some of the development coming in here, walls and things like that. Refers back to my state.
We're not paying for that, it's the city of Williamsport.
I understand that, but it's still industry coming in here.
Right, they
It's
made
still-
that decision.
Yeah, I know.
So
But
address it
then
with them.
But even though, with what's down, maybe down at the mall, with all the eating restaurants, all this stuff, that's nickel and dime shops. That don't help people buy houses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, by the way, John, planning is working on Lost Shoe Run. Just so you
Yes.
know, they have
I
grants.
know, I've heard it for the last
Right.
10 years.
I know, we didn't get one of the grants, but they're taking a shot and trying to get it.
Try every year.
Trying to get it.
Okay, anybody else, public
No,
comment?
you're right, John, we can't let that collapse. That would be a nightmare.
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, Tom.
Morning, Commissioners. Tom Adams, Williamsport. Blessed are those whose way is blameless, who walk in the way of the Lord. I was at the YWCA last night for the service. I have to apologize, I wasn't properly dressed for that. I didn't realize that, I forgot what it was about. All I knew was I wanted to get there to see what it was about. But it's a very eye-opening, where it just kind of hits you like a ton of bricks when you hear the stories of the people that lost their lives due to abuse and that type of stuff. So I guess one word of advice, everyone that we know, especially younger people or anyone who starts getting involved in relationships, that they have good friends around them and they can communicate with them and say, you know, this might not be a good person for you, and take your time and don't rush into things. You know, it's about protecting our families, our community, you know, from violence as best we can, and that's how we can look out for each other as a community. And so when we get to the nonprofits, I guess it'd be kind of difficult maybe with a place like the YWCA. Would that be some place that you look at taxing? I don't think that would be a nonprofit that you would want to tax.
Yeah. I think the argument is what's a nonprofit, what's a true nonprofit.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Properties built up.
Some do make a profit.
Yeah.
So you have to recognize, look at each one, I guess.
Yeah.
I think one of the misconceptions is that a nonprofit doesn't mean that they're not profitable.
Right.
It means that they don't distribute profits the way a C corporation does, and so they can put it into salaries.
Right.
So if they're very profitable, they can pay the CEO $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, right? And the question becomes, okay, if you have that kind of money to pay, maybe you also can pay some of that towards the services that help your organization exist.
Yeah. And I agree too. You know, you have to have, if you want people to come, you need to have industries to deal with the West Company. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Right.
You got to somewhat work with them. I think
We're thankful those industries are here.
it is a good way to do it, because that tax money will come.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of, we'll work through it. I guess that was all I had. Oh, the question on the E-Force?
Yes.
Is that per department, that charge, or is that covered?
The total covers everybody.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Is that a yearly licensing with
Yeah,
that?
there's a yearly licensing. Each department has agreed they'll pick up the yearly licensing fee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Based on the number of personnel that will be utilizing.
Yeah.
That's how they come up with
Yeah.
cost.
Especially there, really save money and
It does,
You
it
know.
does, yeah.
that's great.
And it's important the officer knows if somebody was just in a jurisdiction committing a crime and they didn't have that information, they would have it real time now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Yes, Forrest, you have something additional.
Actually, Commissioner Macer talked about childcare, and I wanted to add a
Yes.
couple comments to that. So as a constituent, Forrest Lehman, City of Williamsport,
Yes.
because I have a family here in the city. I have a 9-year-old son and a 9-month-old daughter, and they're both really good at it. But we moved here in 2008. You know, we got jobs here, we're raising kids here. You know, we're the story, the type of story you want to be able to tell over and over again if you want to turn around population decline. But we were directly affected by the YMCA closure, you know, which has been going on for a while. So when you talk about, you know, a family like mine who maybe if you talk about pulling up stakes and moving away, or someone who's thinking about coming in here, the things that they're going to be thinking about if they already have a family or they want to start a family is absolutely housing. You know, it's come up already, but it's there. The schools, that got talked about, but also childcare, as Commissioner Macer observed. You've got to think about, where are my kids going to be while I'm at work? And am I going to feel comfortable with that? Is it safe? Is it reliable? Is it enriching? You know, and if you're not confident in all those things, it's going to be hard to go to work every day and be productive. And it's been challenging for us because you're having to cobble together childcare, maybe having relatives come from out of town, or, you know, having a private babysitter, and then you're taking time off work to fill in. It's not easy to do that. And the challenge around here has been, sometimes it's the price, but sometimes around here right now, it's not available at any price. You call places and they put you on a waiting list, and you could be on that list for months or years or longer, and some of them have stopped even putting people on lists because there's no point. The list is so long, they're not moving, they're not going anywhere. And so I think this is going to continue to be a challenge for this Board of Commissioners, future Board of Commissioners. Availability and affordability of childcare is going to be a significant barrier to turning around population decline and encouraging population growth and growing the tax base until that problem is addressed. And one story I saw recently was that the entire state of Kentucky, this was reported on earlier in October, the entire state of Kentucky made all of its child care employees eligible themselves for free child care. The state pays for it. And in doing that, they are then able to work, you know, at the wages those jobs provide, and be able to provide child care to others who need it. You know, so there are, you know, that's obviously a state level solution. There may be local level avenues too, but I think county, you know, state, this is a problem that needs to be solved, whether you're a local jurisdiction or maybe an entire state that is trying to get families to want to come there, live there, work there, and raise families there.
Forrest, I think it's really good that you shared that with us, and I hope, you know, the employers are going to have to step up and be part of the solution. Just like they provide health care, just like they help with pensions, they have to help with early learning. And I hope that the next Board of Commissioners will lead the way with the county, just like we established a healthcare facility to cut down our healthcare costs, that the next Board of Commissioners will look towards doing something with early learning on site. You know, I talked often when I was a union organizer. In 1978, we negotiated with employers for child care centers on site. 1978, on site. And the fact that Kentucky is doing that as a state means that Kentucky recognizes that their ability to outcompete the old northern states, like Pennsylvania, like New York, is their ability to be innovative and to attract people. When you have those EV plants going in there, those battery, where they're looking for 6,000 workers in one place and 5,000. So I hope the next Board of Commissioners will lead, But it's gotta be, we all have to work on it. Thank you for the comment.
Thank you, Forrest. Okay, we've concluded our meeting. And,
No, it's not.
oh, there's nothing online? Okay, thank you for reminding me. And we've concluded our meeting, so our next meeting will be Thursday, October 26th at 10 a.m. right here in this room. Thank you. Have a good day. John wants to meet with you.
Okay, I got a 12 o'clock.
Our family member died.